Hello, and welcome once again to another episode of Third Action. I'm your lovely host, Jason, and these are the same three, what are you? Mysteries that were here last week. You can be amigos if you want. In the bottom left, we have Char playing Asherford Human Ranger.
I want everyone to know that yesterday it snowed here, even though it's May, so there's an inch of snow on the ground.
Oh, you meant literally, I see.
Yes.
All right, and in the bottom middle, we have Greshy Ironroot, Dwarven Druid, played by Will.
It didn't snow here, in case you're wondering. I saw a lovely bird out the window, though. It's yellow with like a red head.
Yellow with a red head.
I don't know.
I'll think on it.
Some sort of bird.
In the bottom right, we have Greshy. No, not Greshy. Greshy's friend, Gunn Shough, human champion of Arrestal, played by Adam.
Hey, so if we're to be three amigos, I think we're short about 2 ponchos.
Oh, that's true.
We need to get a couple more ponchos.
Well, Asher still got his old one.
Oh yeah, Asher.
So we just really need
We're
one.
short one poncho.
One poncho.
So we need to kill something we can skin.
All right.
I really don't feel good about just doing that for no reason.
Okay. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Last time on Third Action, our group of intrepid adventurers, what did you do? I suppose saying a curse word that early in the show gets us demonetized, but we're not monetized. Last time, our group of intrepid adventurers decided to meet with the vampire spawn that you had successfully staked and prevented the recovery of. You were kind of debating their fate, so whether or not you should delete them from this plane of existence, returning their souls to the life stream, or if you should somehow find a way to let them live their unlife in this world safely somehow. You ultimately decided to leave the matter up to the spared themselves, and encouraged them to find a way to work things out, sort of. I use encourage lightly, I suppose, but you did inspire them.
This is largely a pragmatic decision because there are known to be 20 plus of these vampires out there, and we only had our hands on 4. So
True.
You didn't really have that much of a choice.
I mean,
we did. It just would have been lots more work.
If rather than even slaying these 4, you ultimately decided to let them go and hope that they find some way to work things out with their brethren. You then decided to spend the rest of the night in the Hidden Beast's lair, and you all got the benefits of a long rest. You were picking out spells. Morgiv came by, gave you guys a bunch of items as a reward for setting his people free. And I believe we stopped as he was showing you all the map of the city that he brought you, to hopefully help you guys with your journey. So let's jump in there. Go ahead and switch over to the Zinch map here. Sorry, I'm trying to can't quite get my chat visible at the same time as seeing the map, so let's try that. Okay. I think this is good enough. Alright. So, no, that's not quite good enough. Windows. How about that? There we go. Alright. So, here is the map of the city. You would all know it to be currently snowing above ground. It's been quite cold outside. Let's see. So you find yourselves here about basically halfway up the city. like kind of smack dab in the middle, a bit to the east, underneath the old lava flow that has covered the eastern half of the city. I guess Morgiv would explain that you're a ways underground, underneath one of these ancient buildings that has long since been completely buried and has very little in the way of upper level rooms. As Morgiv is talking, I can tell you as much as I can about the city. I am only one spared. I can't know everything. That's why I've asked some of my brothers and sisters to arrive. Hopefully they'll be here soon. They can fill you in more on specifics, but we hope that we can make your stay here as lovely as possible.
Well, one thing jumps out at me above all others on this map. What is that building compound?
The big star building?
So you gesture on the, or your finger just goes straight on the map to a large, what is this, septagonal building? Is that what we call these?
Septagonal, seems right.
Septagonal, sure. Seven-sided building that seems to have, at least on the map, is drawn with kind of like a star-shaped pattern on top.
Heptagonal, excuse me.
Heptagonal. All right, that would make more sense. Oh, you know what? I should know that, actually. In any case,
I wonder why.
He looks at it for a moment and blinks his beady little eyes, trying to focus on where you've got your finger. That's the... I believe the old murals call it the Heptaric Locus. It's a... in the old days, a place of gathering, we're told. And a place of great death.
Oh?
Yes. Stories passed down of great warriors of our kind before we were spared. Engaging in difficult conflicts and giving their lives for the old masters.
Colosseum?
I do not know this
Old
word.
masters, you say?
Do I know this word? Do I know what a Colosseum is? Did I just bring that in as a player?
Yeah, you know what a Colosseum is, yeah.
Okay. Colosseum. A fighting pit.
Gladiatorial arena.
These days, no one really goes there. He kind of thinks for a moment. I'm sure, though, that somebody could. And as he's like trying to think about its purpose, a few spared come shuffling into the chamber from the northern entrance. There's I guess let's see how many. There are 4 of them in this group. They're kind of shuffling in sheepishly. And when Morgiv turns and but over here, come, and they they're whispering to each other, mumbling to each other as they make their way over. I was just asking. They were just my friends here. He's struggling to know what to call you exactly, and then just kind of settles on. These are our saviors. That's Greshy, and that one's Asher, and that's Gunn. They were just asking about the Taric Locus, if any of you know. And one of them, slightly shorter one, she's bald just like Morgiv is, and has similar kind of blubbery features. But she immediately, the Heptaric Locus. What do you wish to know?
Well, we're looking for a place that is significant to the worshippers of the Sahedron, and that jumped out at me on the map.
To the worshippers of the Sahedron. She looks at you, and then, which Sahedron item are you wearing? Do you have on a medallion, or do you have it emblazoned on your armor? Okay. She looks at your armor, and gasps a bit. Are you one of?
So hold on.
The Lord's followers?
No.
Oh. Then are you one of the old ones? Perhaps. She says with some curiosity.
Are we? I don't think so.
You say curiosity. Is there any deference to her demeanor when she says the older ones?
That would be a perception check, I think. Just sense.
Is that a secret perception check, or?
Yeah.
Just bullet?
Yeah, if you can do a secret roll, that'd be
let me see if this works the way it's supposed to. Hopefully that works, correct?
Yep, that did in fact work. When she says that, you can tell her manner, you can see that she's more surprised than anything. Like she'd be surprised that. Yeah. When she says the old one, she's just more surprised. Not necessarily deferential or in awe,
so it sounds a question of, or exactly. All right. So not necessarily something to push on. How was it? Just peering in.
No, I don't think we are. No.
Well, if you were followers of Lusala's old ways, she does have we haven't been there in some time, but there is a temple in the city. Let me see if I can find where the... Aha. She points on the map to this building here, all the way up in the northwest corner of the city. She is where she gestures. So it looks like possibly a large temple-shaped building. On the map it's hard to distinguish other than that. I guess it's got kind of it's like a big diamond with its corners cut off, and clearly some kind of dome
octagonal.
In the center.
What?
Yeah.
What do your people know about the Runelords?
The Runelords, we only know of the one, the one they called the Lord of the City. He's not been seen for a very long time. One of them, one of the other ones speaks up. He's been dead for eons. And a third one chimes in. But I've heard talk around the city that the giants, they say he's returned. The fourth shakes his head. No, he hasn't returned yet. They're preparing for something. It sounds like he's coming back soon.
He's trying.
Morgiv turns to you. Are you familiar with him?
We've been disrupting his efforts to the best of our abilities all over the continent. And we've come here to try to finish that job. Make sure he doesn't return.
I suppose that must be your prerogative as saviors, he says, realizing something in his head.
Would you not want us to stop him?
No, of course. I just figured that you have already done so much for us here that any further work would be unnecessary. But of course, things in the city have only been getting worse since Lamia returned.
Whereabouts are they holed up at? You say Lamia.
One of them immediately speaks up and says, sorry, I'm trying to see where on the map it is.
We have some snaps to kick.
That is...
If they get cold up here. Since they're snakes.
Are they cold-blooded, do you think?
I don't know. They need a
They're
heat
just
lamp.
permanently slowed to the whole time they're up here. Because they're cold-blooded.
So, one of them gestures on the map to this building here. Just a bit west of the Heptaric Locus is a large rectangular-shaped building, also seemingly with a dome on it. They used to call it in the old days the House of Divine Consumption. It was some kind of old temple. The Lamias have been... Well, their master stays there. And they come and go, but as far as I'm aware, their leader, the one they call the Most High, it almost never leaves, except to head to the summit occasionally.
Dear Redhead?
He looks at you kind of quizzically.
Guns in the market.
I don't like redheads.
He's got a certain type, you know.
We've been hunting one in
Type he wants
particular.
to kill.
Sorry, you're making me
trouble back.
check.
Maybe she's pulled up
whether
'cause she's
whether
sad.
Lucretia is the
Yeah,
most
it-
high.
No. He shakes his head at that, and then I'm trying to give you the correct hair color before I say anything.
I see.
It's more than one.
You just
could have
Photoshop the
red
picture
hair.
after you decide.
No. There's a
We'll just go
canonical
with
hair
black.
color.
She's raven-haired. It's really easy to make any other color black. It's fine.
Where the fuck is she? Ah, there she is. Okay.
Tell me it's
Hey.
raven.
Of gold.
It is raven haired. He her skin is oh, sorry, not her skin. Her hair is black as night. She's enormous.
It's not very nice.
No, I mean
Well.
she's very tall.
Oh.
She towers over the other Lamia. But sorry,
That suggestion just kind of threw me for a moment.
I'm laughing at
She
chat.
wasn't bad.
Talking about Shayla's being a redhead. Yes. No, she towers above all the other Lamia. Hers is a most regal form. Her fur is resplendent, to say the least.
Bird.
Snakes don't normally have fur.
Before
Not all of the
Are
Lamia
all
are
Lamia-
snakes.
Oh. What else
They-
are there?
I was going to say, would we have known that? I feel like that's.
I never thought about that.
I always just assumed they were all snakes.
Cars?
I'll say that your
Are centaurs
characters
Lamia?
don't know that.
I didn't know that. I never thought to ask.
Yeah, I'll say that up to this point, your
I think
characters
centaurs are Lamia now.
haven't known this, haven't thought about it. The Lamia can all. Well, their curse is one from birth, but they all share the form, or at least partially, of that you and I have. He says, kind of gesturing at you and then gesturing at himself. But some parts of them are more beast-like than others. The Most High Sioptra, her lower half is more akin to that thing, and he gestures at Phelan, not knowing what to call Phelan.
A dog.
Like a dog.
Yes, but even larger and more. He looks at himself at his kind of blubbery skin, and looks at. He'll reach for Asher's arm, and hold. if you don't reject, he'll grab your take your arm and kind of squish your inner arm, I guess. Thinner like this.
Like a cat.
Wolf.
Would I know
They-
that? It's not a sphinx, is it?
They look at each
That's
other
different
and
sort of creature
look
entirely.
at you, and they all kind of shrug. They're not really sure what creature you just said.
I mean, Asher can. I don't know how many times you can turn into a cat. It's worth wasting
Every
one just to
10
show off.
minutes.
Do you want to show off real quick what a cat looks like?
My cat's kind of thick. Little pudgy cat. Yeah, I was thinking more like a wolf with skinny little legs.
Might
That's like
might be a wolf, I
dog.
suppose, because Phelan is more doggy than he is wolf. That's true.
Yeah, but in any
I
case,
think my
she's
cougar's
there.
kind of thick.
The Most High Sioptra. She's their leader, their oracle. They look up to her for leadership and guidance, as far as we can tell. And it is because of her, it seems, ever since she arrived in this city with her followers a few years ago, things have gotten more and more dangerous on the surface. And yes, the spelling is Ceoptra. Ceoptra. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but...
I mean, it makes sense to me.
See, I thought you just misspelled Cleopatra, and I was gonna be like, Greshy. That's not how it's spelled.
She's got some weird attractions. It's hard to explain.
Oh yeah, maybe she's
Her name is definitely not Cleopatra with some letters removed. Don't, please ignore that.
Yeah, she could be an Anubis.
So,
Let's infer based on this alone.
so far we've identified 3 locations of interest.
The hit?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in the Lord's, what did you call him? The Rune Lord?
Aye, Runelord Karzoug.
The others, starts going like, Rune, Lord of Rune? And eventually they kind of settle on, Rune Lord. The Rune Lord,
Yeah, Runelord.
they've, the Rune Lord, it's, ever since Ceoptra has arrived, she's, the rune giants that live here have become more and more militaristic, angry, says one. And as you're talking, more more spared are like entering the chamber and kind of setting up around the room. Many of them kind of taking seats, or like just sitting on the floor. Or standing up against the walls in various shades of chameleonness to avoid particular notice. If you're sorry, I'm trying to think what I want to say. My head.
We expect that somewhere in the city there's a place called a rune well, which we're looking for.
A rune well. They all whisper. They start like this. Kind of gets like passed around the group, but none of them seem to have heard of such a thing.
A pool of water, but with great magical power.
Rune well.
It might be warded to prevent approach. Is there a part of the city which physically cannot be entered?
Oh, one of them speaks up. The summit is like that. Of course, the summit. And yeah, this kind of runs around the room, and yes, they eventually kind of settle on the summit. If you take the northern road, or if you take the golden road through the city, you'll eventually reach the path to the summit, and that path is, well, no one has successfully been up there in a long time, or at least until recently. There's some kind of wall, like you say, that it makes it impossible to go in, though we haven't tried ourselves in some time. One of the other ones speaks up. But we've seen some of his minions go in. Yeah, some of his top dogs. Shit, they don't know dog. Whatever. You know what? I'm just going to talk. I'm going to not. I'm going to talk. Rather than trying to
Hound, which has
roleplay all of them.
diffused down through the languages to become used as dogs, but it meant something else back in the day and was irrelevant. Translation holds up in time. It's fine.
Okay, I'm not going to try and I'm going to stop trying to roleplay the entire crowd of them, but they're chiming in with answers that will amount to what I'm summarizing for you. Let's do it that way. Some of them have noticed. Up until basically a few years ago, after the post-Hysioptera has shown up in town, that is when some of Karzoug's troops have been able to go to the summit. There seems to be some kind of barrier or force field around the summit itself. The path to the summit is this road that leads through town. This main road is actually called the Golden Road, or it's what they all call it. They say it's paved with gold. And a good portion of it is it's kind of like an elevated street that passes through the city. So everything on the western side is kind of like the lower city, and everything on the eastern side is kind of up against the Golden Road, which is, the street itself is raised and the buildings are like really packed into it. So much so that you actually can't see. It feels like you're walking at ground level when you're really not. There's actually like a whole layer of undercity beneath the Golden Road. That was effectively the slums district, is what you're able to put together. And that slums district has effectively become the underground network of tunnels. Or a lot of it has become the underground network of tunnels through the city. Since you presume that there was some kind of, it looks like a volcanic eruption has basically covered half of the town. The people that they have seen go up up towards the summit, seemingly successfully, like nobody has actually followed anyone up there. They've seen individuals leave the town. They've seen the Most High Hysioptera go. They've seen the leader of the Rune Giants make his way to the summit. And that is... Do I know his name? Where is he? I don't know his name offhand, but the leader and a couple of the captains of the Rune Giants have made their way up there. A couple of humans, or people they describe as looking like you. One of them is a woman in golden armor. And the other is a man in purple robes and long flowing black hair. And both of these people have not been seen in a very long time. And the last time anyone saw them, they had made their way to the summit about a year ago and have not returned. The other creatures that have been to the summit, seemingly, it doesn't take long for the name Glorifex to get mentioned, and you discover that Glorifex is the blue dragon that you saw flying over the city entrance on your way in. Is that it as far as the other creature that has gone to the summit is what's his name? He's got a funny name, and I didn't write it down. Vorgor, Voorgoor, Vorgor, the leader of the Yetis, is the other creature that has made his way to the summit. Yes. Further questions?
No, I'm starting to form some ideas, which, if we discuss together, we may be able to turn those into a plan.
Are there any known supply locations? Do you know where they might store things? That sort of... there's a lot of giants here. There's a lot of people. They all need to be fed. They all need to be armored. They probably are using some sort of magic to improve these sort of things. I'm wondering if that could be raided or disrupted somehow.
Okay. So what will get mentioned near the entrance to the city is you guys kind of just avoided it by ducking into some of the earlier buildings, but there is a black fortress called Kragnatha. I think that's correct.
Kragnatha.
Kraknaratha. There we go. I remember.
I liked the other name better. I was thinking like Agro Crack.
Kraknaratha. There we go. Kraknaratha. Krak space Naratha. Kraknaratha is the black fortress that stands guard at the entry of the city. It was abandoned for quite a long time until the Lamia came. They have been seen moving large carts of things in and out of that fortress, and it's relatively light. Well, the main guards of said fortress are the Kushrimas, which are another type of Lamia, as you will find out from their descriptions. They describe them as flying Lamia, and more flesh than person, I guess. And one of them describes them as wielding massive giant bows to rain down arrows on anyone who comes near. But that's one of the places that is mentioned in response to your question. The other one is the giant encampment, which is right here, just a little bit further into the city, just to the west of the Golden Road. It's this kind of block right here. Yeah. They've cleared out a lot of the buildings that were there, and a large number of giants from the lowlands, which you would determine to probably mean the giants of the Storval Plateau, have been assembling there. There are rune giants that have been watching over them. But yeah, for the most part, it's largely non-rune giants. So stone giants, hill giants, kind of giants you've encountered before. And there's a large number of them there, and they seem to have a lot of supplies that in and around that large encampment. The other spot would be this hilltop fortress to the north, just to the south of the Taric Locus, is a what sounds like a garrison. And it's where all the rune giants themselves seem to have taken up residence, or have always resided. And some stuff gets taken up there through a mountain path to the south. It goes up the hillside and leads to this array of buildings that overlooks the city. And that's where the Rune Giant High Command basically sets up. And they do not let any of the other giants go up there, except for the leaders of specific clans, it seems. I think that those are the major places where supplies seem to be getting kept and moved around. Occasionally, one of the giant leaders will take things up the main road, but only ever the leaders and only ever by themselves. They never bring subordinates with them.
So, if I understand correctly, to the south, there's the large fortress that has a number of supplies in there that are kind of inside of the fortress. Then there's the area where these giants are located, where they have a large encampment, and there's a bunch of supplies that they protect there.
Yes.
And then the rune giants have their own supplies up on their own area, all by themselves, that no other giants are supposed to come to.
Yes.
So if the giants that aren't allowed to go up to the rune giants area suddenly found themselves without food and unable to get supplies, do you think they'd be more or less interested in going after the rune giant supplies? The ones who are pressing them.
That's a thought.
It's a thought. I honestly don't know about the inner politics of the city here, but
I do think that with the help of the Spared, we will likely be able to travel around the city unmolested. And so we should we choose, the ability to make surprise strikes on strategic targets like you're suggesting. We could pop out, break some supplies, light them on fire, destroy them, etc.
Earthquake?
And then disappear before they could really attack or chase us. So that is a reasonable strategy. But what would we gain from doing so? We could throw off the lesser giants' efforts to build up. We could cause some strife between them and the rune giants, and we could potentially draw some attention more to the south part of town if we did one or two strikes in that area.
If we can draw attention away, and if we can start to make sure that they're not going to be able to back each other up, is the big thing. If we go after Sioptra and we try to track down all of the other Lamia in the area, I'd rather not have a bunch of rune giants bearing down on us all of a sudden.
Yeah, it wouldn't be our first time lighting fortresses full of giants on fire.
Aye, it's a tried and true method. In this particular case, we could attempt to abscond with a number of these supplies first, and then once we've done so, we'll destroy the rest, wreak some havoc. And, you know, the biggest thing here is if we can turn them on the rune giants, however we manage to do that, if we can get them at each other's throats a bit, then they'll be too busy with each other to be quite so worried about us wandering around and messing with other people that they're not so concerned about because they're not being fought.
We
would have to be sneaky, though, because if one of them sees us and tells other people there's some random humans wandering around and getting our supplies, then the plan of having them inner fight might be ruined.
That's true.
But then again, it might not be ruined because knowing that doesn't give them any more food. Like, it'll still
Gives them a target, though, to hunt for.
the logistical problems they will have will still be problems, which could cause some amount of strife.
About
between them.
how large is the fortress? The southern fortress, you'd say? The
Kraknaratha?
Kraknaratha?
The scale should be correct-ish on the map.
Oh, is it? I honestly didn't check. Just a moment.
So you should be able to just kind of
Can I just measure that out?
roughly measure it.
Okay, so
1,000 feet
fairly
across.
sizable. 1,000 feet across, it's pretty sizable. Okay.
It's not entirely fortress. There's a wall around it, and there's some major buildings inside the wall. But the Golden Road actually goes through the center of the fortress, and there's a checkpoint at either end.
Oh, did we get an answer on whether the Golden Road was actually coins, or whether it was plated, or bricks, or just one sheen of gold?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask them, the Spared would describe the Golden Road as covered with a mixture of coins and bricks.
Okay.
So this kind of hit and run tactic could be one strategy we could pursue. Another would be to strike at their command. So either the Lamia or the Rune Giants. If we can infiltrate and take out some of the leadership. Another would be to sneak through the town entirely and try to use our rune weapons that we've forged specifically to defeat this wall of force, to try to break through without talking to anyone or capturing any kind of keys or anything like that. If we,
What do you think,
make
Asher?
it to the road, we may be able to figure out a way to ascend without fighting anymore, or we also might be able to intercept some of the supply caravans that are going to the summit.
Something we could always do first is go look if we're sneaky enough.
Scouting.
Scouting might give us a better idea of who's where, how many people are where, and how difficult each thing might look.
So I think we should take a look at these things. I would suggest we take a look at the fortress and the giant set up to the south. We want to scout out what the Lamia situation is, and we want to see what's going on with the giant situation at the fortress, correct? Because those are going to be the big things we want to gauge right now. I don't know if we wanted to go after the dragon, try and figure out what's going on with that thing. I'm just hoping it wants to leave us alone, maybe.
Maybe it'll never see us.
Well, if we stay underground, perhaps.
That'll only get you so far if you're going to the summit, says one. Yeah, the road to the summit is, well, for lack of a better word, fairly open.
So the dragon's gonna have to be dealt with at some point. Very well.
Kind of assumed as much once you leave the city. Same as it was when we arrived.
Aye, same as it ever was.
How far?
There might be another way, one speaks up. I remember a story once of some of our people who lived at the peak escaping through some kind of secret path. And a couple of them kind of confer and also recall hearing about these stories, but none of them are immediately sure where such a path might lead, or where such a path might be. But they do offer to look into it for you if you want.
That would be helpful.
We'll need to consult.
We'll kill a dragon if we have to. But...
the old stories. Yeah, maybe some of the temples have, or some of our old temples have murals about it, and they just kind of confer, agreeing to kind of split up and search some of their old temple sites that the vampires spared had taken over, to see if they can find anything about it. Root up.
Wow,
that doesn't involve the main road.
While you're at it, I would also be interested in any information you have about the event known as Earthfall, whether that was when your people became spared.
Oh,
or whether that
the
was
Earthfall? Yes, that's what we all called it. The time when the great rocks fell from the sky. It was panic in the city. There were flames, giant streaks of light across the sky. The volcanoes, or rather the mountains, erupted into flame as each of the rocks hit. The stories tell of that being our people's great escape into the underground. Yes, rocks fell and everyone died. When our people finally emerged many years later, the city was barren except for a few of the Lamia, the rune giants.
Did your people survive because they had any form of protection or guidance? Divine protection or guidance, I mean?
The great Mesmina was the one who saved us. She is our golden goddess. She followed the old ways of Lasala. And even though she was a servant of the old lord, that I guess Runelord you called him, she took pity on us and decided to lead our people to safety. She erected magical walls and barriers to protect us from the fires above, and it was only thanks to her great sacrifice that we still remain to this day.
Are there any places here that are significant to that act of hers? Is there a site where she helped people shelter or prayed or performed these magics?
They confer with each other. Her final resting place was, well, not resting place. Her the act of her final and greatest sacrifice is no longer with us. It's in one of the many destroyed buildings. One of them, one of the spared would kind of gesture to a little ways north of you, somewhere in the... fuck, I keep grabbing the wrong tools. A ways north of you, somewhere in the rubble, is where she met her end. They say that she used the last bit of her life force to erect one final, protective wall as the final spared made their way underground. But the wall gave out just as the last child made it through. And no one had seen her since then. So everything else they have of her is basically their own handmade temples that they've erected to pray for the day that they... she left them with a prophecy that one day a group of 4 heroes would one day arrive, and these saviors would rescue them from some great evil. Gunn is counting on his hands.
And looking around. Okay. But this temple here, this is the old temple of Lasala. You say Lasala's old ways. Does that mean prior to the doctrine of sin?
They're not really sure what that means. It's just kind of a thing that they know to say. But yeah, you get the sense that they're referring to a time before even her time. She was probably some kind of splinter faith follower of Lasala.
I see.
They would also mention that many people in the city had, even during her time, many people had shied away from the Lasalan faith and had turned instead to the Golden Peacock. And their temple in the city is much more splendid and was much more well kept. And that they have some they have a lot of seemingly distaste for the the Great Peacock through, I guess, stories that Ms. Mina used to tell.
Any of these possible actions standing out to you as the best start? Sneaking up the road, Asher. Hitting the supply depot, Greshy. Visiting the Temple of Lasala, Gunn, maybe.
We want to split up?
No, certainly not.
I mean, all of that sounded correct to me. We do want to hit all of those, and including, in fact, I am curious about going to the Temple of Sala.
I was about to say, I'm curious about the temple. Maybe that's a place to start.
My concern is, do we know that the tunnels can get us all the way there? I know we're currently in the wreckage and rubble over on this side, but once we cross over to the other side, it looks not exactly pristine, but much more...
Good question.
Oh.
I'm not sure how well we move on that side.
The spared talk amongst themselves, and yeah, they can basically get you anywhere within the city limits, effectively, through underground passages that they've since built, or dug out by hand, effectively.
You know, they do have tools. I could make you some if you want. Make digging tunnels easier. Have to use your hands.
One of them, they all seem to be kind of put off by that idea. It's always been a great tradition that we dig our own way through life. That we find our own path to living.
I just feel like that path could include tools, but very well.
I wouldn't say
why don't
no.
you lead the way?
This one.
I'll bring him a spoon.
Make him a proper shovel at some time later, but Asher, what you want to go scout? Where should we scout first?
Well, I think we should go to the temple first.
All right.
I feel like that's a good information start.
We can head there. We could head there and maybe scout the Lamias on the way back carefully.
So far.
So
I might have been confused at where things were on the map.
So if I'm looking correctly, the Temple of Sala I've been referring to, this one over here.
That one all the way up there, I see.
Aye.
Yeah,
And
all the way
then
to the
over
top
here,
left
just a
corner.
bit more to the east of it, is the Lamia place.
Oh, yeah, actually, this might be a good
So
avenue
we
to
could
go.
actually kind of arc all the way back. We could even hit the Hipta Dibba.
What's called the
Yeah, Dark
hippocampus.
Locust.
That's not what
We
it
could hit
is.
we could hit the hippocampus. We could stop by the hippocampus. And I actually did want to ask, is this some sort of track? They have like a
Like
did they
Oh,
have like
where?
a full like track right over here just east of the
Heptarch Locust.
campus.
kind of look like
the heptacampus.
Yes, one of them would say that used to be the Circus of Vomark. It's after their kind of weird descriptions of it, it would sound to you like some kind of like perhaps chariot course or racetrack of some kind. They describe other events of valor amongst their people, the great races that took place there, for the amusements of the old masters.
Old masters.
The other.
What exactly were the old masters? They specify?
You'd get the sense that by the old masters they meant the ruling class of the city.
Okay, they really meant just the upper elite. All right.
Yes, these people were literally descended from like actual slaves. So that's the gist that you
I
get.
I see. So they really still refer to them that way. That's awful.
Well, they say the old masters. They do not say it with pride. They say it with disdain.
That's fair.
Let me see. Other things.
Been
So as
repeating that,
Hmm?
the old masters, and that also does make me wonder. We've heard that term before. I think it was in the library when we were discovering that was the name of the people of the area where Zin came from. That other empire, the Aslanti.
Aslanti, Well, I'd imagine the aristocrats might have been direct descendants or directly come from Aslant, whereas these slaves may have been slaves brought over either from Aslant or brought here and raised or created here.
Did these people come from there? Is that what they're referring to as at that time, or were there Aslanti in Thassalon?
You would know that the Thessalonians, they are Aslanti, or at least that's what you've kind of put together. Like they are ex-Aslanti people.
They're like the U.S. to Europe or to England was at some point.
Yeah,
it's like a colony that broke off, sort of.
Yeah, Zin led them to ideological freedom, basically, from the true Aslanti, who were very purist.
Okay, but the Old Masters refers to the true, the colonial Aslanti or the homelands Aslanti.
I think in the context we were referring to might have been the homeland.
The Spared have been talking about the Old Masters, seemingly referring to the Aslanti that live, or not the Thessalonians that lived in this city, that owned them.
Okay.
It's definitely similar. Like they're using the same Thessalonian words, but the context seems a little bit different. The Old Masters that you read about in the Library of Jorgenfist seem to refer to people who had power over the Aslanti, even.
Right.
Yes, this was some higher power. Or
that's why I was wondering if there was difference when they were referring to Old Masters, but it's different kind of Old Masters.
Yes, the Thessalonian words are the same, but you're able to piece together that they're talking about something different. That they seem to be just referring to their the people that used to rule over their people that are all dead and don't exist anymore as the old masters.
Right. I think we even may have established that the ones referred to in the book were not human, but were some sort of mind flayers or something like that.
Possibly. I think, that's definitely an inference that you could make. There's some kind of monstrous creature, maybe.
Okay. Anyway, that's not that's not a connection that I'm trying to learn more about what happened in Earthfall. We have confirmation now that it was a Rain of Fire type event. We already knew it was detected in advance to be approaching by astronomers. We don't know if there's a perceived cause, like the wickedness of man, or
randomness of the universe.
Yeah, randomness of the universe, or some alien civilization lobbed it at this planet on purpose. So.
Yes, I think that all comes to, yes, that's basically what you would know at this point. And yeah, the Spared,
but it's
what they're referring to as Earthfall, seems to be the event that destroyed the city and caused them to go underground for thousands of years.
And one way or another, that was almost exactly 10,000 years ago.
Yes.
Well, that's all I was going to ask about with respect to that story for the time being.
Leave it in your hands. Anything else you guys want to ask?
I think if they're willing to find us a route up to the summit that doesn't require us running out in front of a dragon, though I suppose we can deal with a dragon if we must. And maybe we ought to, depending on whether the dragon's going to be a problem later on. But if they can find us that route, they can help us get to where we're going today. And otherwise, just keep an ear out for any weird political things going on in the city that we can make use of. All of these different factions, there may be infighting, power struggles, something like that. I don't know what we can use to our advantage yet, but there's a lot of people here. We can cause some chaos if we're, doing it correctly.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean, they seem pretty amenable to that. Like, they have a group that can immediately just go splinter off and start searching for information about this path that a few of them seem to remember hearing about at some point. One of them can lead you to the act as your guide, and the others are more than happy to assist in your sabotage of the city. Morgiv would speak up as these plans are kind of getting made, and or he'd come over to you guys as the others are kind of breaking off and discussing their plans. I must thank you again. I know this is already what you were planning on doing, but you really are, well, maybe one day we'll be able to live in the light again. Thanks to you all. I just wanted to say thank you again. And he bows before you.
Greshy glances back the direction they came from, where the vampires were from, and thinks about him saying something about being in the sun again, and just shakes his head.
Maybe they use umbrellas.
Well, I have no faith they're not just going to be turned to vampires here before we get back, but we'll see.
Well, if anyone would be able to stop this Runelord from doing any more damage to the city, or by the sounds of it, to the world, it would be you all. So we'll do everything in our power to help. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Actually, perhaps I was considering, would you mind if I escorted you?
Morgiv? Or...
Yeah, it's Morgiv who's talking to you, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, still Morgiv.
As long as he's feeling 100% today.
Oh, yes, I'm
no
feeling...
lingering effects from his...
Fine, yeah. The healing you did...
The blast he took yesterday.
I don't even seem to have a wound, and he'll show you his arm, and yeah, it seems fine.
Well, that's good. Let's go.
All right. Where do you want to go first?
Morgiv. And we were heading to the Temple of Asala. That's the one way over there on the northwest side. Okay.
All right. Let's see. That's about 1,500 feet. 15,000 feet. Sorry. 1,000 feet, 2 miles.
About 3 miles as
3
the crow
miles.
flies.
Yep. Okay.
It's gonna take us like 2 hours. Maybe 2.5.
Yep.
5 hours later.
I mean, it depends on how bad these
so with
tunnels are, because they could be
just
awful and just
back the whole time.
switch back, just constantly going back and forth.
So yeah, talking with all of the spared uses up about 2 hours worth of time. So it's about 11 something by the time you're ready to go, and then the trip underground itself takes about 3 hours, we'll say. It's dark. I guess, do you all have dark vision at this point? Because once you're out of the tunnels themselves don't have any light. It's just this one chamber that happens to.
I do.
I do.
I can get 1 hour's worth,
Would you like a light?
but if we can bring a light, that would be better.
I have my ever-burning torch. Yeah, how do you get it to split like that? To do the thing? 'Cause it
Oh,
doesn't
the
work the same
ruler?
way.
It's a little different in this one.
you drag and you hit you hold control and you let go of the mouse and then you click.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
I'm doing control shift.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Uh-oh. There it goes.
I think if you just start it
I'll
while
show how
holding
to do
control, yeah, you can just hold control when you click, and that'll create a little waypoint. And you can right-click to undo waypoints if you want to just go back. Okay. So, cool. You guys make your way towards the Temple of Lasala, winding through the dark tunnels. What are your Everybody had their spells prepared already. Is that correct?
Yes. I did not have much to do.
I think, is Greshy the only one with prepared spells?
I have
so.
like two I prepare, and
I
they're
have
usually
two
the
as well.
same.
Okay, so I've already taken a look at Greshy's spell list. Gunn, what do you have prepared on yours? You've got Light and Message, it looks like.
Yeah, the only thing I have are cantrips. Yep.
And Asher, you've got Stabilize and Ray of Frost.
I think I have Frost, yeah.
Yeah,
Frost and Stabilize. I always take Stabilize, and sometimes I swap what the Frost one is, but it's Frost today.
And were there any other like prep spells that you were casting, Greshy, at the start of the day? I know you talked about casting some of them.
So I did Endure Elements on everybody. I did Status on everyone. I already cast Shocking Grasp into Gunn's sword. I did Long Strider on myself. And I think that's it for preparatory for the day. I do have a couple things that can give us a bit of an advantage, but they're short periods, so I'd rather save them. But if we need to sneak around someplace for about 10 minutes or so, I can help out with that.
Okay.
For a group of us.
And I think Asher, you cast Long Strider and Dark Vision on yourself,
Yes,
or
except well, Long Strider I'm gonna cast before we start in the tunnels, but I have Dark Vision otherwise.
Okay.
Which is forever and a year.
All right.
Long Strider, you jerk.
Cool. Sorry, just checking the upkeep. Okay, so you guys, wind through the tunnels. I guess, Gunn, you just create light. If you've got this light spell, you can have your own light to see. While the others don't necessarily need it. Morgiv is very efficient at his tunnel movement. Like before, he very quickly he seems to just kind of move at like full pace. Not even really. He never really stops to consider which way he's turning, and you just kind of follow him. He seems to just perfectly naturally know his way through through these tunnels. As you're getting close, he says, we should be getting close. I won't be able to get you inside the building, but I can get you, basically across the street from it. Is that okay?
Yeah, we'll do our best from there.
Do to start with, I.
Where should we run if we are seen, or if we need to flee? Back to the same entrance here? Will you be able to get us away quickly, undetected?
Yes, I can get you. If you can make your way into, this. So, I can show you a point at a couple of buildings that can work. Here, we're almost. And he reaches up and pulls a stone across the ceiling of the kind of end of the tunnel that you're in, and reaches up and climbs up, and you find yourselves inside just a small building, and the door. There is no door anymore. Or rather, the door itself is fallen on the ground, and it's kind of rotted away, most of it except for the metal pieces. So you can see out into the street, and this time of day it's very bright. So you can see what looks like a two-tiered building, massive temple. on it is the whole thing is decorated with Sahedron runes all around the trim. It's got massive stone columns made of probably some kind of marble. I say some kind of marble, like there might be multiple kinds of marble. I don't know if that's true. Marble columns that kind of hold up the outer portions of the building. And then there seems to be a large central inner building in the middle of all the columns. That is probably the temple proper. And there's like a big set of big stone doors in front of it. He'll kind of shush you and point across the street to another building and another building. He just kind of points at a couple of the buildings nearby. If you go into any of those, there should be holes like this one. Look behind any. We place these, and he. You see him kneel down on the floor and pick up a single coin, and show it to you. We put these near our entrances, and he hands it to you, and it's a very rusty bronze coin. But that should, if you just get into the tunnels, I'm sure one of us will be able to find you. I'll let the others know to keep on high alert. We'll be around watching you, so just stay safe, okay?
Thank you.
If you hear us scream, that means that danger is nearby.
Not good. Yes, okay.
Good to know. Appreciate it. Well,
so we're inside this building now?
Yeah, you're inside a
not
building.
this one. I think we're.
Yeah, you're inside a building across the street from the temple. It's a little bit closer than what the map would be, but yeah. The building you're in is just completely uninhabited. The roof looks like it could collapse in at any moment. It's kind of like a big round building. There's a bunch of what were probably there's a bunch of space for what were probably shelves, like it maybe was a library or something similar. But all the shelving is kind of fallen apart, and it's just kind of rotting wood smell.
Okay. I think the first thing we should do is eat lunch and sort of hang out, wait and watch, see if there's anybody patrolling or moving through this part of the city.
Okay.
And also we can look at the temple itself and see if there are any windows there we can see any occupants.
Yeah, from here,
That's always a great sound.
sorry, that was me pouring out my dice, not not actually rolling them.
Just the dice hit the tray. You look out the window.
No, I just had, my dice tray just had
hit the tray.
literally every dice in it. But there are 3 of you. How do you have the pets right now? Are they just out? They could have followed you through the tunnels, albeit a little difficult. But
pet cache. We'll do pet cache for Rob.
okay, so
I think for now,
Phelan's
Phelan's going to be puppy form in Greshy's bag, so we'll have it with us, but puppy sized.
Right. Sounds good. Okay. So just based on you guys kind of chilling in this building and looking around, you can pretty clearly see the temple and what seems to be like the massive stone doors that are the temple entrance. They've got the Sahedron rune carved on them. It's like a massive double door that's 10 feet wide. Or sorry, more than 10. It's probably more like 15 feet. It's very, very large doors. and you can also see the road in front of you. This road is seemingly paved with possibly silver coins or something along those lines. It's very shiny and glints off of the light. The light of the sun is glinting off of the shiny metal surface of the road. You can tell that the road. It looks like the road is like the coins in the road are probably like slightly melted into the surface, like they've been kind of superheated and used to create this big kind of cobblestone road, except out of money. The snow is falling. It's not sticking super well to the road itself, but all the dirt and grass around the sides of the road are all maybe a couple of inches deep. Any other details off of that? Asher, you notice almost instantly that one, it's actually really odd that the road is so clear of snow. At first it seems like it's just not sticking, but it should, given how much it's snowing, it should pile up at some point, but it's just not. So it seems like there's either the road has been cleared or there's something special about the road that's not allowing the snow to really stick and is causing the snow to melt faster. The other thing that you would notice is that there are some what's the word? Even amidst the bit of snow that is stuck to the road, there are some large gaps, and you can immediately determine those to be probably giant-sized footprints or boot prints on the road. So relatively recently, a giant was probably had walked this road.
Asher would probably be our best scout, and there's two good ways he can do that. One, turn into something very tiny and that also flies and go looking. And two, use your VR headset. So
VR headset.
That's true. You got a lot.
Does one of those sound more appealing?
I think
The VR might not work here if it's relying on the same spatial.
True, but it's worth a try, isn't it?
Greshy
I
described.
think it's also better in. I feel like it's better in buildings, but
Well, I mean, to view inside the temple.
I would be inside the temple, yes. So I was like, I can turn into a small bird and fly around and see what's outside, but yeah, I can also crawl in the temple or view in it if you would like.
Is Morgiv still here?
Fine.
Morgiv he's hanging out by the tunnel entrance. He's gone in, like, basically invisible though. He's pretty hard to see while he's standing still, but he's just being quiet.
Do they patrol or visit here frequently? Do you know?
Patrols have increased since, well, very recently, actually. I don't know what they're looking for exactly, but ever since the stone giants have arrived, there's been quite a few of them walking the city streets. The more that arrive, the more active it seems to be. Sometimes pairs, sometimes groups, sometimes alone. It's hard to say.
Are your people aware of them using the temple actively, coming and going frequently? Or is it
He shakes his head
empty?
Invisibly, I guess. We don't know if I've never seen anyone use the temple.
Okay. Then maybe if Asher wanted to do some bird scouting, he could make bird sounds to let us know when it's safe to go in. We can sneak across the road.
I'm just reading some stuff about my bird.
You guys are...
How do super small bird? What kind of birds live around here? Can I consider? So it won't look weird. I'm not a turkey.
Nature check.
Ah, yes. I'm gonna re-roll that.
A natural one.
Turkey.
Okay, using your hero point.
Okay. Yeah, you're pointing my bird. I had a 30 this time.
Okay, 30 on the natural 6. All right. You guys haven't seen much in the way of birds out here. This high up, perhaps, if you see any, they would be very small kinds of birds, like certainly nothing bigger than a pigeon, probably. Yeah, you haven't, or either like smaller than a pigeon or as large as a rock. You would know that rocks frequent this kind of altitude, while most other birds probably wouldn't. Certainly not chickens or anything of that sort. Maybe, pheasants and like quails and that sort of thing. You might find that kind of ground-dwelling bird around. Hopefully that answers your question.
It answers.
You don't know of any specific birds, though.
I just want a bird that people won't look at and go, why is that here? Why is there a peacock, like, trying to get into this building?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, a sparrow is always safe. A house finch. Those are birds that you find literally anywhere.
Ironically,
that odd.
A peacock trying to get into this particular building would be somewhat appropriate.
It's like, oh, it's just one of those again. Oh my goodness, there it is. It took me forever to find this. I need to know my speed.
In animal form?
Small.
I feel like it's like 10.
Well, yeah, but you gave me this extra thing.
Oh, right. I didn't
so
give you.
I can increase it by 10. So is a sparrow like tiny or?
Yes, a sparrow would
tiny,
be.
Right. Okay.
It'd be tiny or diminutive. Yeah.
20 feet. Speed. Yep, that's all I wanted to know. And it can go as long as I want. Cool. All right, it's sparrow time.
Okay.
Oink. This is the sound I make. To a sparrow.
Asher just poofs and he spends a lot of time thinking about it. He's like pacing around the room while you guys are just watching outside. And he eventually has like an aha and just poof into a sparrow with a little messenger bag. Tiny sparrow messenger bag.
Quite a lot to think in there.
Close.
All right.
And then I will. Oops, I can't move my piece. I can move everyone. That's not good.
You can move. I have
Oh, there
individual
I
pieces
am.
for you guys. There you go.
Oh, can I?
Yay!
Can I be?
We're real people now.
Can I shrink myself? I can go AFK.
I mean, on this size of map, it doesn't really matter, but it might shrink you.
That's
Okay, so
fine.
you turn into a sparrow and fly out of the building. Cheapen a little bit as you go. You fly out into the street. Where do you go? You're just flying over inside the inner column area towards the temple.
Yes, I was gonna go towards the temple.
Okay.
Peep in a window or two before trying to find my way in.
Okay, yeah, you fly over to take shelter under the outer roof between some of the columns. There's the first thing that you see is just like a little stone bench. You land on it and look around. You see that there's a number of what appear to be or what seem to have once been stained glass windows around the outer sides of the inner building, but they're all shattered. There's a few shards of glass lying around on the ground, but there's not enough glass for the entire window's worth of glass is not present anymore. Either someone made off with it, or is blown away, or something has happened. But you can kind of hop your way around the building and see that this inner cylinder building is missing all of its stained glass windows. You hop up. If you want, you can fly over to a window to get a better look inside. Or anything else you want to do.
If you want to look inside.
Okay.
I want to see if it's safe in there.
And you have dark vision on, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you flutter up to one of the windowsills and hop around some of the broken glass shards to get a better look inside. And you see what looks like the inner chamber is a large 7-sided room with a central podium in the middle of the room, surrounded by what look like very low benches or pews, but they're like very, very short and kind of fat and wide, like big enough for you to put a pillow cushion on them and maybe sit cross-legged on them. There's just a bunch of these stone benches arrayed around this central podium, and if you look up, you can see that there's some kind of big mural on the ceiling. It looks fairly complex. There's I guess in the darkness you wouldn't be able to tell the colors, but there are a number of looks like a lot of kind of swirling clouds, maybe of magic, various runes etched into, or almost decorative, like sparkles around the swirling clouds. Lots of kind of floating human characters of some kind, people gesturing and making sweeping gestures. And as they come towards the center of the dome, domed ceiling, in the center is the figure of Lasala that you have seen some pictures of already. She is. You see her like Sahedron face, and her arms. Her arms are kind of depicted as if she has many arms, possibly 7 different arms that are all. It's the it's the arms petting all the puppies meme image. It's like one central star, and then 7 arms like reaching out from the star towards a number of people who are like reaching towards her. And you can see you can also see her like kind of coiled snake body underneath the star face. Sorry, that's a very awkward way to describe all that, but that's what you see. The chamber itself seems empty. It's silent, dead silent. Not a single soul to be found.
That's good. I actually, since it's silent in there, I'm gonna fly up a bit and see if surrounding area looks clear. So if Gunn and Greshy walked out towards the building, if they'd be seen or not, just based on people being outside.
Okay, so you like kind of fly out of the kind of covered area and up onto the roof bit, so you can kind of get a good look around, and then just start like do a quick loop around the building. You can see this top dome piece of the building is looks like an old. It's basically a bell tower. The bell itself has broken off. Has fallen onto the roof of the building in the back, and is like pretty badly chipped and damaged, and many of the pieces have actually fallen onto the ground below. The bell itself seems to be made of some kind of it's very shiny and golden. As far as creatures that you see, as you look around, am I able to? Oops, that's not what I was trying to do. I think I have a way to... whatever. I can see your modifier. I will roll it. Your perception modifier is a 38 plus this number. Okay. You're looking around. You spot as you're flying around the back side of the building, the kind of northwestern side. You do spot a group of hooded figures, humanoids, possibly human. They're all kind of turned away from you, but it looks like 3 of them, medium-sized people, all wearing robes, just kind of they seem to be talking to each other. They don't notice you at a glance. But they're kind of standing in the shadow of a building. As you make your way...
Those look like those really angry people we saw in... What town was that? Where they told us to go away.
Oh, jeez, what was that?
Which ones?
Oh my god.
Oh, we've been kicked out of so many.
What
Adam,
town was
this? We've been kicked out of so many towns.
Are you thinking of the cultists?
It was the last. Was it the cultists? They were like. Gunn tried to talk to them, and they were like, "Go away."
Oh, you mean the
oh, in Runelords
stuff?
Yeah.
The roguish folks. In a way, I suppose these look like fairly plain cloaks. I suppose, like simple brown leather cloaks. You could try to get a better look at them, but that's just kind of what you see, just kind of flying past them.
Alright.
And as you make your way back around to the southern side, you do catch sight of... I don't have the picture super ready, but can I show you a picture from the book? Maybe this will work. this thing. Whoop.
Oh,
You see
no.
these.
Oh, yum.
You see a group of about 4 of these guys. They're like big, fleshy, vulture creatures. What size are they? They're medium sized, so they're about as big as a person. And all 3 of them are carrying. They've got a quiver swung around their back, and in one talon, they're carrying a large bow, an oversized bow. I just realized that I've not been giving people their points. Sorry. But yeah, it's a group of 3 of them, and they are flying past you to the south, kind of flying in this direction, towards the hillside garrison, hilltop garrison.
Okay. And where are they exactly right now? Are they like super close? Or are they kind of farther and just far away?
I'll use Greshy's token as an indicator. They were behind you, and they're flying overhead, and they're flying to the south around you. Like so. And they're flying pretty fast.
And the entry doors to the
temple?
Church. Yeah, the temple. Where
they're on the southern side.
Exactly. Are they like on the southern side? Great. That's great news. Oops. I guess I'm stuck there. There you go. Alright, I'm going to fly back down and peep at my friends and kind of fly towards the doors and fly back to like show them like, take this path. Don't go around.
All right. Do you want to go first, Gunn?
Sure.
Make a beeline for it.
Yep. And so if I'm preparing to run across the snow, I'll go ahead and activate the clothes that give the 1 minute of water walk. To
Okay.
prevent leaving tracks on the snow.
All right. So what is this? This was the
Energy robe of cold.
Okay.
You gain
Nice.
water
All right,
walk
you-
for 1 minute.
You activate the energy robe of cold, boosting your makes you feel kind of lighter, and then you just dash out across. You just cut rather than like walking the slow route across the road and taking like the main path up into the cathedral. You just dart just straight across, fastest way possible. And okay. Whoop.
Lol,
Okay,
I've been spamming the chat with backpack. Okay, oops.
That's fine.
Oh, jeez.
I can
Only a couple
delete them.
times.
Backpack.
Backpack.
No backpack for you.
Okay, yeah, you make it across. Greshy, what are you doing?
I would be following. I'm going to try and kind of sneak across. As I do, though, I think I'm going to actually... Well, it depends on how bad the footprints I'm leaving are in the snow. But I'm going to be trying to be stealthy as best I can for, short, stout dwarf.
Okay, well, if you're being stealthy, that would be half speed. Yeah, what's your stealth modifier?
Stealth modifier is 24.
Okay. Actually, I guess you can roll that as a secret stealth roll. I can make you guys roll.
Can't I? It's just... can do that. Roll as a private blind GM roll. That's the one I want. There you go. See what happens.
Okay. So you take your time rather than since you don't have any way of completely concealing your prints. You have to take like a slightly more. You try to stick more near the road itself.
Would it help at all if I use the decanter of endless water to try and create makeshift ice as we went along? Since it's cold enough. Imagine freeze pretty quick once it hit.
With that roll, you would know that doing so would possibly make an even more obvious, trail in the snow.
Fair enough.
You'd have to
All
do
right.
it very, very carefully and very, very slowly to completely hide the path rather than creating an ice slick that leads right to you. But yeah, you just take a little bit longer, crouch down, going along the road and trying to avoid any line of sight for too long, and you make your way across and seemingly under the safety of the outer door, the outer columns. There's a bunch of columns, a roof over your head, and then before you is a set of doors and a temple entrance. Yes. A column. A big column. I don't know why my words are failing me today. Sorry, guys.
It's fine. It's Monday. Something like that.
Yep. Okay.
Well, if we can get inside, then we should try and get inside before we get spotted someplace.
Well,
Yeah,
there's...
sure. I thought we were
Biggles.
headed to a particular entrance or something.
Well, I mean, there's two big-ass stone doors in front of you.
Got it, Gunn? Do you need a hand?
I'll give it a go.
Tweet, tweet.
Okay. Athletics check.
Yes, sir.
Can I aid on that? Try and help pull him with him?
Sure. I'd allow you to aid with athletics.
It's just a
Do I-
minute, so athletics is this button.
I had this. I mean, what happened to my nice tool shortcut bar?
It should
that was
still be
across the
there.
top of the-
You might need to select your token.
Okay.
Hey.
I don't know if I have it. Okay, there we go.
If you scroll down...
Select the group token.
Yes. Yeah, probably.
That was the
The
problem.
group doesn't really have any bonuses
That's true.
or actions.
But skills.
Okay.
Okay, 28, that is a success. So that's a +1. 34, that is a 35 for Gunn. Okay. Yeah, that's enough to... So you have to, find some leverage to pull... You're trying to pull carefully and quietly, because you see that this door is massive and it looks really heavy and just... It clearly scrapes along the ground. So you find one of the massive bronze door knockers, grab hold of it and pull carefully. And Greshy, for his part, comes alongside you and helps pull the knocker as you get the door just a bit, just far enough out for your gun to reach your arms in and wedge the two doors apart. And there's a bit of stone grinding on stone as you open the door just enough of a crack for the two of you to be able to fit inside easily.
Not much we can do about the snow being disturbed if the door opens.
There's not a lot of snow underneath the roof here, so there's no
Okay.
obvious tracks here. Yeah. Once you're underneath it's like a pavilion roof. You're in a gazebo with a temple inside, basically.
Okay. We can shut it behind us so that no one comes around will notice that it's cracked open.
Can you shut it behind you? Yes, it would be... You actually can't really shut it behind you. This doesn't look like it's it looks like it's a kind of temple that's made for kind of open air services, and when they close for the evening, they would just shut the doors from the outside, so it doesn't seem to have like an inside mechanism to close the doors. If you could
It's kind of like a
make one
shed
somehow.
sort of thing.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, is there any clearance under the doors where I could slip a rope or something?
How much time do you want to spend Jimmy with us?
This
There's
wouldn't
not a
take long if
lot of
there's-
clearance. Probably not. Yeah, you could.
We have
you
that
could,
reinforced
you could
rope.
squeeze a rope under. Oh,
I
the
was
reinforced
thinking of
rope is
tying a
actually
knot-
thinner, so yes, you could squeeze the reinforced rope underneath.
I was thinking of tying a knot in the end so that it's larger, too large to fit under, and then slipping it under the edge of the door and then pulling it from the inside.
Okay, yeah, that works. So yeah, you tie one knot into you dig through your bag to find the reinforced rope that you got from the rune forge. It seems to be some kind of strange material. You tie a knot to one end. You kind of wedge it underneath the door, and then from the inside, you and Greshy pull the door shut behind you.
And that means that little knot is sticking out, but
Yeah.
that's probably a lot harder to see than the door being open.
All right. Well,
It'll be fine.
yeah, the two of you are in here. I assume Asher's in here as well, or
I did come in.
Asher darted through.
yeah. As soon as the door opened, Asher darted in, or he could have come in through the window.
Here.
All right, rope on the ground.
And then we can have a look around.
I'm curious about trying to see if there's anything left to Lasala that matter. Would they have cleared it all out at this point? Or what's left?
Gunn, as Greshy says that, you turn towards him. And your mouth starts to move, and your voice comes out of your mouth, but they're not your words. So this is where you've all been. And that's the end of the session.
Okay.
But whose voice?
I have a
Whose
sneaking
voice
suspicion.
indeed?
I have
Well,
a couple sneaking suspicions now, actually.
there's many
right.
possible sources for the voice. We'll find out next time on Third Action. Thank you all for joining us. Sorry for I feel like I'm just a bit out of it today, so sorry about that. Sometimes we're like that. That's how the real world works, people on the internet.
That's how the world
Yeah, hope you all still had fun. We'll be back. Oh, actually, we're not back next week, right? Right. The
Yep.
16th, we are off. So join us, hopefully on the 23rd, at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. Assuming everything is good, we will be back then for more lovely adventuring goodness, and maybe we'll find out who the voice is. Thanks for joining us.
Not.
Or maybe not. Maybe that's all they'll say.
Just never find out.
All right. Anyway. Oops. I pressed that button too early. Good night, everybody.